Well, I mean, I particularly love your writing style. You've got a very sort of funny, outgoing, sort of love for life kind of attitude, and you really go into these sort of deep immersion sort of projects. But if we go back to like little agey, were you an inquisitive child? I've heard you mention in other interviews you didn't particularly like your childhood. Do you think that was like a motivation point to kind of go to start trying these transformations, and it's you've just enjoyed sort of jumping into things and learning?
Yeah, that's a good question. I like it. I feel like I should lie down on the couch. Uh, yeah, I mean, I didn't have a terrible childhood. It's just, I was the usual socially awkward, nerdy guy. And I would say I did always have, though, curiosity that, I may not be the smartest person in the room or the best looking, best athlete, but I do feel on the bell curve of curiosity, I am on the far right hand side. So um, I, I read everything I could read. And even as I remember in high school, for instance, the Scientology Center was about 2 blocks away from my house. So I remember spending an afternoon investigating, just hanging out at the Scientology Center. And it was a bizarre experience. And I did not become a Scientologist. Uh, and I don't endorse their theology. However, it was awesome because it was like an anthropological adventure. And so that is something that I've always had.
And was there? Can you think of like a particular reason that made you sort of drawn to finding out more about that? Where was this sort of natural curiosity from? Were you always that kind of kid that wanted to know where rain came from and all these kind of things? Because a lot of kids nowadays just want to play sports and they don't really they just Google things if they want it. But what made you
Right.
want to kind of be the person that wanted to see the connections, the finding, the puzzle of life, so to speak?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I mean, first of all, I wish I had Google growing up. I mean, God, that would have been amazing. We had to go to the library. We had microfiche. Maybe I don't think a lot of your listeners know what microfiche is. But anyway, I think curiosity is partly you're born with it, but partly it can be nurtured. And I once interviewed Alex Trebek, the host of Jeopardy, and he had a quote that I loved. He said, I'm curious about everything, even things that I'm not interested in. So even things that he has no interest in, he's curious about. And I kind of get that. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I kind of get it. Because I do think anything can be interesting once you start to dive in. In fact, I've often thought it would be an interesting challenge to take something that's stereotypically the most boring topic, like I don't know whether that's accounting or whatever, and then just spend a year diving into it. Because I'm sure that once you get into accounting, like there's fascinating controversies and scandals and grand philosophies and ethics. So anything can be interesting.
I can imagine my social life would be a struggle to make it interesting the way things are going.
I accept your challenge. I will go over there and try to and write a book about it.